On Sunday, July 27, 2025, the summer sky over Virginia and North Carolina darkened as massive storm clouds gathered. The day had started like any other, with the sun blazing and the air thick with humidity, but by late afternoon, the atmosphere shifted. People paused in their routines, glancing upward as the sky transformed from bright blue to a deep ominous gray. The air, hot and sticky all day, grew heavier still as strong winds whipped through neighborhoods, leaves and loose branches danced wildly, and the first hints of the storm's power could be felt in every gust. Children hurried inside, and pets were called home as the wind picked up speed. Rain began as a gentle sprinkle, tapping softly on rooftops and windows, but within minutes it transformed into a pounding downpour, drenching streets and yards in sheets of water. The sound of rain became a constant roar, drowning out the usual summer noises. Lightning flashed across the sky, jagged bolts illuminating the dark clouds for brief, brilliant moments. Each flash was followed by thunder that rattled windows and echoed through empty streets, making the storm feel even closer and more intense. Streets quickly flooded, water rising around parked cars and swirling at the curbs. Trees bent under the force of the wind, their branches straining and sometimes snapping. The storm's power was impossible to ignore, as nature unleashed its full force on the region. From northern Virginia to the Hampton Roads coast, the storm swept across towns and cities, sparing no one in its path. Rural fields and busy city streets alike were battered by wind and rain as the storm moved relentlessly eastward. Visibility dropped to just a few feet as rain hammered down, and the wind sent debris flying through the air. Street signs rattled, and trash bins tumbled down sidewalks, adding to the chaos outside. People watched from their windows, faces pressed to the glass, hoping the storm would pass quickly. Some filmed the spectacle on their phones, while others gathered together, anxious but safe inside. But the storm lingered, bringing wave after wave of rain and lightning. The sky lit up again and again, and the sound of thunder became a steady drumbeat in the background. Then, the lights began to flicker and go out, one neighborhood after another. Streetlights dimmed, and homes were plunged into darkness as the power grid struggled to keep up. The hum of daily life, refrigerators, air conditioners, televisions, fell silent. The sudden quiet was unsettling, broken only by the storm's relentless noise outside. The storm had struck the power grid, plunging thousands into darkness. Utility crews braved the elements, already preparing for a long night of repairs. For many, the sudden blackout was the first sign that this was more than a typical summer storm. Concern and uncertainty spread as people realized the scale of the outage. It was the start of a major power outage, one that would test the patience and resilience of the entire region. The region braced for a long, uncertain night. Families gathered candles and flashlights, preparing to wait out the storm together. Nature's strength had made its mark, leaving a community in darkness and awe, and reminding everyone of the power of a summer storm. The blackout spread far beyond a single town, stretching across Virginia as the storm's fury intensified. Entire communities watched as the lights flickered, then vanished, leaving neighborhoods and cities shrouded in darkness. The power grid, overwhelmed by the relentless wind and rain, failed in one area after another, creating a patchwork of blacked-out regions across the state. The outage didn't stop at the state line. It swept into northeastern North Carolina, plunging towns and rural areas alike into the same uncertainty and confusion. Hampton Roads was hit especially hard. Newport News, Hampton, and neighborhoods from Briarfield to Semple Farm Road all lost power. Residents there faced pitch-black streets, silent homes, and a sudden halt to daily routines. Major roads like Mercury Boulevard went dark, causing confusion for drivers. Without working traffic signals, intersections became hazardous, and emergency crews scrambled to direct traffic and prevent accidents. Over 10,000 customers on the Virginia Peninsula alone were left without electricity. Families huddled together by candlelight, while utility workers braved the storm, working through the night to assess the damage and begin repairs. Northern Virginia wasn't spared. Fairfax, Loudoun, and Arlington counties saw thousands of outages. Suburban neighborhoods, usually bustling with activity, fell eerily quiet as the blackout persisted. Suburbs and cities alike faced the same darkness, showing the storm's vast reach. The blackout blurred the lines between urban and rural, rich and poor. Everyone was affected. Even rural communities and customers of smaller power companies, like Central Virginia Electric Co-op, were affected. farms and small towns, often overlooked, found themselves just as vulnerable as the cities. Dominion Energy confirmed widespread outages with the blackout covering cities, suburbs, and countryside. Their crews raced against time, navigating flooded roads and fallen trees to restore power. Nearly 1,350 customers from smaller providers lost power, too. In small towns, neighbors checked on each other, sharing supplies and support as they waited for updates. The storm created a massive blanket of darkness across 2 states, visible even from space. The scale of the outage was staggering, affecting millions and leaving a lasting mark on the region. Countless people waited, hoping for the lights to return. For hours, and in some places days, the only glow came from flashlights and candles, as families clung to hope and community. The scale of the blackout was unprecedented, a stark reminder of nature's power and the fragility of the systems we rely on every day. The storm's fury brought 2 main threats to the power grid: lightning and falling trees. Lightning strikes overloaded equipment, blowing fuses and melting wires. Winds snapped branches and toppled trees onto power lines, breaking wires and pulling down poles. Repair crews often had to clear debris before they could even begin fixing the lines. The power grid is like a chain. One break can disrupt everything. Hundreds of separate problems appeared at once, overwhelming even the best defenses. Dominion Energy's systems helped protect the grid, but nature's force was too much. Crews had to find and fix every break, a slow process when damage was so widespread. Lightning, wind, and trees combined to create a perfect storm for outages. The result, a massive, complex blackout. Restoring power would take time and effort. At the storm's peak, over 118,000 Dominion Energy customers lost power. Far more people than that sat in the dark. It was as if an entire city had gone dark in an instant. Crews worked through the night, but by Monday morning, nearly 20,000 customers were still without electricity. Newport News and Hampton were hit especially hard, with over 10,000 outages. Across Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, about 17,500 customers remained affected late into the evening. Each number represented families and businesses struggling without a service they depend on. This was not the first major outage of the year, but it was among the worst. The July storm was a stark reminder of how vulnerable we are to nature's power. The region faced a long wait for normalcy to return. The outage struck during an extreme heat wave, making the situation even more dangerous. The relentless sun beat down on the city, turning streets and buildings into radiators of heat. People could feel the oppressive warmth the moment they stepped outside, and there was no escape from the stifling air. The National Weather Service had issued an extreme heat warning, with temperatures soaring above 100 degrees and humidity pushing the heat index to 110. The air felt thick and heavy, making it difficult to breathe, especially for those with respiratory issues. Losing power meant losing air conditioning, the main defense against dangerous heat. Without fans or AC, homes and apartments quickly trapped the heat, offering little relief even in the shade. Homes quickly became ovens, especially for the elderly, children, and those with health issues. For many, the heat was not just uncomfortable, it was life-threatening, as their bodies struggled to stay cool. Officials warned of heat exhaustion and heat stroke, urging everyone to take the risk seriously. They reminded the public that symptoms like dizziness, nausea, and confusion could signal a medical emergency. Community centers and libraries opened as cooling stations in places like Fairfax and Loudoun. These spaces became vital lifelines, offering a safe haven for those unable to cool down at home. Residents were advised to drink plenty of water, avoid strenuous activity, and check on vulnerable neighbors. Staying hydrated and connected with others was essential to prevent tragedy. The blackout turned the heat wave from uncomfortable to potentially deadly. Without electricity, even basic tasks became difficult, and the risk of heat-related illness increased by the hour. People scrambled for relief, seeking any cool refuge they could find. Parks, malls, and public buildings filled with families desperate to escape the relentless heat. The combination of heat and darkness tested everyone's resilience. Nights offered little relief, as homes retained the day's warmth and sleep became difficult. The risk of heat-related illness was real and immediate. Emergency services responded to calls for help as more people struggled with the effects of the extreme temperatures. Staying safe became the top priority. Communities came together, sharing resources and support, determined to protect one another until the crisis passed. As the storm raged, Dominion Energy mobilized crews to restore power. Line workers and technicians faced dangerous conditions, working around downed lines and debris. Spokesperson Cherise Newsome assured the public that teams were working as quickly and safely as possible. The company's smart grid technology helped pinpoint damage and reroute power, speeding up some repairs. Still, much of the work required hands-on effort, clearing trees, replacing poles, and splicing wires. Extra crews were brought in to handle the massive job. The goal: restore power to everyone, especially as the heat wave continued. Crews worked long hours, determined to bring back the lights and cool air. Technology and teamwork were both essential. The restoration effort was underway, but patience was needed. When your power goes out, reporting it to the utility is crucial, even with smart grid technology. Customer reports help confirm outage locations and speed up repairs. Dominion Energy makes it easy to report outages via their app or by calling their toll-free number. After reporting, patience is key. Thousands are waiting, and crews are working as fast as they can. You can check outage status and estimated restoration times online or through the app. Clear debris around your electric meter if it's safe, but never approach downed power lines. Stay out of the way so crews can work efficiently and safely. Your cooperation helps everyone get power back sooner. Simple actions make a big difference during a crisis. Safety comes first during a power outage, especially in a heat wave. Drink extra water, wear light clothing, and avoid strenuous activity. If your home is too hot, seek out a cooling center or spend time in a public place with air conditioning. Stay on the lowest floor of your home and take cool showers if needed. Check on elderly neighbors, young children, and anyone with health issues. Stay far away from downed power lines. Always assume they're live and dangerous. Report fallen lines to Dominion Energy or call 911. Keep refrigerator doors closed to preserve food. Use flashlights instead of candles for light. Never leave burning candles unattended. Simple precautions can prevent accidents and illness. Community support and vigilance are vital. Stay informed and prepared until power is restored. Your actions can keep you and your loved ones safe. As crews worked tirelessly, each restored home brought relief and hope. Neighbors supported each other, sharing resources and information. Cooling centers offered refuge from the dangerous heat. The crisis revealed both our dependence on electricity and our community's resilience. The number of outages steadily dropped as repairs continued. The experience was a lesson in preparedness. Emergency kits and technology proved invaluable. With each passing hour, the situation improved. The goal was simple: restore power, ensure safety, and return to normal life. Soon, the hum of daily life would return, and the ordeal would become a memory. The community emerged stronger, ready for whatever nature brings next.